You don't have a reputation. You have a pattern people have seen, repeated and remembered. And once that pattern is formed, it becomes who they think you are. Not because it's completely true, but because it's consistent enough to believe. This is the uncomfortable reality. People don't discover your reputation. They are trained to recognize it. And once they do, it becomes extremely difficult to change. Most people think reputation is something that happens naturally. That if you do good work, act with integrity, and stay consistent, people will eventually see who you are. But that's not how it works, because people don't track everything you do. They don't analyze your full behavior. They don't see the complete picture. They see fragments, moments, signals, and from those fragments, they build a simplified version of you. A label, a story, a reputation. This is why two people can do similar things and be remembered completely differently. One becomes reliable. The other becomes inconsistent. Not because of reality, but because of which patterns stood out. This is what Niccolò Machiavelli understood in The Prince. Leaders are not judged by everything they do, but by what is seen repeatedly. And those repeated signals become identity. In this episode, we break down how reputation is not something you leave to chance, but something that is built, reinforced, and if necessary, reshaped. Reputation does not begin after people know you. It begins the moment they first see you. Before you speak, before you explain yourself, before you prove anything, a judgment is already forming. And that judgment is not random. It is based on signals. How you present yourself, how you carry yourself, how you communicate even in silence. This is what people call a first impression. But hear the truth. First impressions are not accidental. They are interpreted signals. And those signals create a starting point, a baseline for how everything else will be judged. If that first impression signals confidence, people look for confirmation of confidence. If it signals uncertainty, people begin to notice hesitation. This is how quickly reputation begins to form. Not over time, but instantly. And once that first layer is established, something powerful happens. It becomes a filter. Everything you do afterward is interpreted through it. The same action can mean two different things, depending on that first impression. A direct statement can be seen as confidence or arrogance. A calm pause can be seen as control or uncertainty. The difference is not the action. The difference is the frame already in place. This is why first impressions are so difficult to reverse. Because once people form an initial belief, they don't reset it. They defend it. They look for evidence to support it. This is not a flaw. It is human nature. And this is why powerful individuals do not leave first impressions to chance. They design them. They control the signals from the beginning, because they understand something most people ignore. You don't get judged from zero. You get judged from a starting point, and that starting point shapes everything that follows. This is the first step in manufacturing reputation. Not waiting to be understood, but deciding how you are first seen. A single action doesn't define you. A pattern does. You can be disciplined once and be ignored. You can be confident once and be doubted. But repeat that same behavior again and again and again, and something begins to form. Not just an impression, but an identity. This is how reputation is built. Not through isolated moments, but through consistent signals over time. Because people don't remember everything you do. They remember what you do repeatedly. This is how the mind simplifies complexity. It looks for patterns, and once it finds one, it locks onto it. You're reliable. You're unpredictable. You're strong. You're difficult. These labels are not created from one event. They are created from repetition, or at least from what appears to be repetition. This is why consistency is so powerful. Because consistency removes doubt. The more predictable your behavior becomes, the easier it is for people to define you. And once they define you, they stop questioning. They stop analyzing. They accept. This is where identity solidifies. Not in reality, but in perception. This is what Niccolò Machiavelli understood when writing The Prince. A leader does not need to prove everything at once. They need to reinforce the same message consistently. Strength, control, discipline, not occasionally, but repeatedly. Because repetition creates familiarity, and familiarity creates belief, and belief becomes reputation. But there's a deeper layer most people miss. Repetition does not need to be perfect. It needs to be recognizable. If people can predict how you will act, they begin to trust that pattern, even if they don't fully understand it. This is why inconsistency is dangerous. Not because it makes you wrong, but because it makes you unpredictable. And unpredictability creates doubt. Doubt weakens trust. And once trust weakens, reputation begins to fracture. This is where many people fail. They focus on isolated actions, moments of effort, occasional discipline. But reputation does not respond to effort. It responds to patterns. This is the rule. What you repeat becomes what you are known for. Not what you intend, not what you explain, but what people see over and over again. And once that pattern is established, it becomes extremely difficult to escape. You are not judged alone. You are judged by what surrounds you, the people you stand next to, the environments you move in, the names you are connected to. All of it becomes part of your reputation. This is the power of association. Because people don't evaluate you in isolation. They use context, shortcuts, signals that help them decide who you are quickly. If you are seen around strong, respected individuals, some of that strength transfers to you. If you are consistently linked to disorder, inconsistency, or weakness, that perception follows you. Not because it is fully accurate, but because it is easy to believe. This is how association shapes identity. Without you saying a word, a single image can define perception. Standing beside the right person, or the wrong one, appearing in the right environment, or the wrong setting. These moments create assumptions, and assumptions become narratives. This is something Niccolò Machiavelli understood deeply in The Prince. A leader is not only judged by personal actions, but by the company they keep. Because association signals alignment, and alignment suggests shared values. Whether that is true or not, this is why powerful figures are selective. Not just about decisions, but about proximity. Who they are seen with, where they are seen, what they are connected to, because each of these becomes a signal, and signals build perception. But there's a deeper layer to this. Association doesn't just elevate, it can contaminate. You can build a strong reputation over time, and weaken it quickly through the wrong alignment. A single association can introduce doubt. And once doubt appears, people begin to question everything else. This is why reputation is not just about what you do. It is about what you allow to be connected to you. Because people don't separate these things. They merge them. You become part of the environment you are seen in. Part of the people you stand beside. Part of the narratives you are linked to. This is the hidden force shaping reputation. Not just your actions, but your associations. And once those associations are established, they become difficult to separate from your identity. Once people form an opinion about you, they don't update it easily, even when reality changes, even when new information appears, even when evidence contradicts what they believe. Because reputation, once formed, does something powerful. It becomes defended, not just remembered. This is where the gap between reputation and reality begins. You may grow, you may improve, you may change completely, but people don't automatically see that change. They see you through the lens they already built. And that lens filters everything. If they believe you are reliable, they interpret your actions as consistency. If they believe you are careless, they interpret the same actions as mistakes. The behavior doesn't change. The interpretation does. This is how perception overrides reality. Not by ignoring it completely, but by reshaping how it is understood. This is one of the most difficult realities to accept, because it means your effort to change is not immediately recognized, and sometimes not recognized at all. This is what Niccolò Machiavelli understood in The Prince. People do not constantly reassess leaders from zero. They rely on established impressions, and those impressions become stable over time. This is why reputation is powerful, but also limiting. It protects you when it's strong, but it traps you when it's outdated. Because once people believe they understand you, they stop looking deeper. They stop questioning. They stop updating their view. And this creates resistance to change, even when the change is real, even when the change is obvious. This is why rebuilding reputation is so difficult. Not because change is impossible, but because perception is slow to adapt. People would rather defend their existing belief than admit they were wrong. This is human nature, and this is where many people become frustrated. They expect reality to speak for itself. They believe that if they improve, others will notice. But reputation does not respond to silent change. It responds to visible, repeated signals. Without that, the old narrative remains. This is the tension between reputation and reality. Reality may evolve, but reputation stays fixed until it is actively reshaped. And until that happens, people will continue to respond to who you were, not who you have become. Changing your behavior is difficult. Changing your reputation is harder, because behavior is internal. Reputation is external. It lives in the minds of other people. And once it's established, it becomes resistant to change. This is why many people feel stuck. They improve. They adjust. They become more disciplined, more focused, more capable. But nothing changes. People still treat them the same way, still expect the same patterns, still respond to the old version. This is not because your growth is invisible. It's because your signals haven't changed enough to override the old narrative. Reputation doesn't update with intention. It updates with evidence, and not just any evidence. Repeated, undeniable, visible evidence. This is where most people fail. They make small adjustments, subtle improvements, inconsistent changes, and expect perception to shift. But small changes are absorbed into the old narrative. They are dismissed as exceptions. Just a good day, just a one-time effort. The pattern remains unchanged, and so does the reputation. This is why breaking a reputation requires something stronger. A clear, consistent shift in behavior. Not once, not twice, but repeatedly, until the old pattern becomes impossible to defend. This is how you overwrite perception, not by explaining yourself, but by replacing the pattern. This is what Niccolò Machiavelli implied in The Prince. Leaders must not rely on words to shape perception. They must rely on visible action reinforced over time. Because words can be doubted, but consistent behavior becomes difficult to ignore. However, there is a second layer most people underestimate. You must also control where and how this new behavior is seen. Because if your change is not visible, it does not exist in the minds of others. You may become disciplined in private, but if people only see your old habits, your reputation remains unchanged. This is why rebuilding reputation requires both behavioral chain, visibility of that chain, and both must be consistent over time, without contradiction, because one contradiction, one return to the old pattern, can reinforce the original narrative and undo progress. This is the reality. Reputation is fragile when changing, but rigid when established, and breaking it requires more effort than building it the first time. Which is why the smartest individuals are not just careful about how they act, but how they are consistently seen acting. Because once a reputation is formed, changing it becomes a strategic effort, not a natural outcome. Once reputation is established, it stops being just a label and starts becoming a tool that influences decisions before you even act. Because people don't wait to see what you will do. They assume it, based on who they believe you are. This is where reputation becomes powerful, not because of what you do in the moment, but because of what people expect you to do. A strong reputation reduces resistance. People hesitate to challenge you. They think twice before opposing you, not because of your current action, but because of your established identity. You don't want to go against them. They're known for this. That's just how they operate. These statements are not about reality. They are about reputation. And once that perception spreads, it begins to work for you automatically. This is what Niccolò Machiavelli understood in The Prince. A leader does not need to prove strength in every moment, if their reputation already suggests it. Because reputation creates anticipation, and anticipation shapes behavior. People adjust before you even act. They comply before you enforce. They align before you demand. This is efficiency. This is influence without effort. But there is another side to this. Reputation can also be used strategically, not just to maintain power, but to guide outcomes. A leader known for discipline can enforce order with minimal resistance. A leader known for unpredictability can create caution without direct confrontation. A leader known for decisiveness can move quickly, because hesitation is removed from others. This is how reputation becomes a weapon, not through force but through expectation. However, like all powerful tools, it carries risk. Because once people learn your pattern, they can also anticipate it. And if that pattern becomes too rigid, it can be used against you. This is why the most effective individuals do something subtle. They build a strong reputation, but retain the ability to adapt within it. They are predictable enough to be trusted, but flexible enough to remain unpredictable when necessary. This balance is rare, but powerful, because it allows you to shape perception without being controlled by it. This is the final layer of reputation. Not just something you carry, but something you use. Reputation is not something you find. It is something that is built, repeated, and remembered. This was the deeper understanding behind the ideas of Niccolò Machiavelli in The Prince. Not that people will discover who you are, but that they will decide who you are, based on what they see consistently. And once they decide, that perception becomes difficult to change. In the next episode, we explore another uncomfortable truth: why loyalty is temporary and why trust is always conditional. Because in the world of power, Even strong reputations are not permanent. If you want to understand power beyond surface-level advice, subscribe to The Lonely Pen, because this series is not about comfort. It's about clarity,